السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد. Welcome to the daily reminder, and here alhamdulillah we are still dealing or commenting on some hadith, some of the traditions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have chosen the book of Riyadh al-Salihin, specifically the book on Al-Adab, Kitab al-Adab, the book on manners. And we are dealing today with the section which is titled باب استحباب بيان الكلام وإيضاحه للمخاطب وتكريره ليفهم إذا لم يفهم إلا بذلك. It's a section on the recommendation to make your speech clear, speak in a clear manner that people can understand, and clarifying it to the listener, and if need be, repeat it till they understand, if the person fails to understand what you say. Because sometimes there might be some noise around, or maybe the person was thinking about something and they didn't pay enough attention, or maybe the way you said something took someone by surprise, or was a little bit, rushed, whatever. We have two hadith here. The first one, عن أنس رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان إذا تكلم بكلمة أعادها ثلاثا حتى تفهم عنه، وإذا أتى على قوم فسلم عليهم سلم عليهم ثلاثا. رواه البخاري. From Anas رضي الله عنه that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم was, if he said a word, if it wasn't understood, he would repeat it up until 3 times until it is understood. And if he approached a group of people, he would give them salam up to 3 times, obviously if it was not understood. Collected by Al-Bukhari. Now I want to point out something here. This hadith, if I were to translate it very literally, it would sound awkward, and I'm going to do that here for you to see. From Anas that the Prophet ﷺ said that the Prophet ﷺ, if he said a word, he would say it 3 times until it is understood. And if he approached a people or a group of people, he would give salam 3 times. Does that make sense? And this is I'm highlighting this for a reason. Sometimes the way we understand the Arabic language today is very, very unnatural. Very unnatural. You can't just take a language. You're not a computer. You're not just like a data processor, and where you process information away from the context, away from the natural context. Because if you were to imagine someone, every time they speak a word, they repeat it 3 times. Like I say, for example, I want to explain this hadith to you. I want to explain this hadith to you. I want to explain this hadith to you. Let's talk about the first word. Let's talk about the first word. Let's talk about the first word. Does that make sense? It's extremely awkward and weird, and that's not the way people speak. That's not a sane human being speaks. And this shows that sometimes, which happens a lot to some of our brothers and sisters when they start learning Islam, and they want to be to the letter, and they don't realize that they don't understand the Arabic language. Even sometimes native Arab speakers. It's just because they take the language in a very technical way, away from the natural flow of life. Any human being with a sound mind knows that, as they read this hadith, that it doesn't mean the Prophet ﷺ would repeat every word he says 3 times, or he would give salam 3 times, but that common sense, normal human functioning of the brain tells you that, the Prophet ﷺ would say something. If it was not understood, he would repeat it. If it's not understood again, he would just repeat it to clarify it. That's it. If he said salam, some people did not hear among the group, he would repeat it so everyone hears it. Or maybe he did not receive a response, so maybe they weren't paying attention, so he would say salam again. That makes sense, right? And that's exactly what the scholars who comment on the hadith, that's what they say. But again, this is to show that sometimes people take the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and they think the moment they can read Arabic or understand Arabic, or just because they grew up in an in the Arabic world, and they speak some of the language and they started learning the Fusha and speaking it, they think once you come to any statement you can actually interpret it. No, language is extremely contextual. It's very situational. And without maturity, you cannot understand language properly. You don't need only linguistic acumen and skills to understand language. You need maturity, you need experience in the world, you need a lot of reason. And again, all of that boils down to maturity. So, yeah, so the Prophet ﷺ shows that Prophet ﷺ, every time he spoke, his point was to make himself clear, was to clarify things, to get people to understand. That's the point. And we have to put this with the other hadith, which sort of completes the picture here. وعن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت كان كلام رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كلاما فصلا يفهمه كل من يسمعه رواه أبو داود. From Aisha رضي الله عنها, collected by Abu Dawud in his Sunnah. From Aisha رضي الله عنها, she said, Allah's Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, the speech of Allah's Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم was very clear, very crisp, clear. Everyone could understand it. Everyone who heard it could understand it. So we put these two hadith together with the Prophet ﷺ was, he spoke in a very clear, crisp manner, so people could understand what he said. His pronunciation was clear. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't too slow. It wasn't mumbled. It wasn't, he would not just whisper his words, or he would not mix the letters together and hide some letters and eat up some words. The Prophet ﷺ spoke in a very clear, understandable way everyone could understand and relate to and comprehend. As simple as that. And this section is on the recommendation to have that. There are people who don't speak clearly. Maybe they speak too fast or too slow, or maybe as they eat some words or half of a word or some letters, or they don't use words that are commonly understood and commonly used. And the Prophet ﷺ actually warned against using very strange words. And to the point that if someone failed to hear the Prophet ﷺ, or they did not understand what he said, he would repeat it up to 3 times. Up to 3 times. So this is a beautiful etiquette, very simple. And somebody might think, oh, this is not related to religion. Well, it's not like a religious matter. But these are the etiquettes, we said. These are the etiquettes. And this was the manner in which the Prophet ﷺ spoke. So this is something I think it's good to pay attention to. That when you speak clearly. Speak to make people understand rather than speak, for example, to show off your, large pool of vocabulary, or to show off that you are educated and sophisticated and using big words. No, say words that people can understand and people can relate to and people can comprehend, and speak in a way that people can hear, because some people are very shy when they speak, or they have this deep voice and it's not so loud, so people don't get to hear them, so they struggle in communication. Basically, when you have all of these obstacles in communication, it just makes communication difficult, tough, and it slows it down and it reduces the quality. So it's good. And communication is extremely important because there are feelings involved, there are meanings involved, there's sometimes people work together, so misunderstandings really affect the quality of our lives. So in terms of the way we convey our ideas or feelings, communication is we do it in the best way possible so people can understand. We speak in a crisp, clear manner. We use words that are easier to understand. And also, if there is a need, we just repeat to make people. But the hadith indicates the Prophet ﷺ would not repeat more than 3 times, which shows there is a problem in communication. If you need to repeat more than 3 times, then this conversation is going to be obviously not a functional one. So today's reminder is a short one. This is a beautiful etiquette that inshallah, this is something that we can utilize. It becomes more relevant as we use, oftentimes these days we speak on the phone, and sometimes you don't see the person face to face, because when you see the person face to face, sometimes you can do some lip reading if you miss a word and you can figure it out, or you can read the expression on their face. But on the phone you need to be very clear, and people need to be very clear. So there is more need in our times for this manner of speaking and communicating. I hope you find this something that you can implement in your life. Jazakumullah khairan for joining us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of us and help us develop our manners in a way that pleases Him. See you inshallah in the next section of this daily reminder. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.